A lot of people are intimidated about stepping into trying out video. I hear that a lot. I was really scared too. You just have to do it. You just have to get in there. You have to, try it out.
The number one tip for any photographer or anybody who has a background in stills that's moving over or transitioning to video or motion pictures would be to shoot for the edit.
Think in terms of sequences. Shoot the big main shot, but then shoot little parts of it as well, so that the editor has something to go to.
Is this shot going to work next to this shot, going to work after that shot, going to work with that shot? And that's something that as a still photographer, you don't really ever think about. So when I say shoot for the edit, it's really how are you fitting your shots together?
You can always tell a still photographer's first couple of forays into video because they hold these beautifully composed shots forever because there's nothing to cut to. And I was guilty of that, there'd be a shot on the screen for 15 seconds. It's like, okay, it's a beautiful composition, the light is beautiful. What else you got, So you have to have sequences to do that.
So my husband and I made this huge switch from stills to video. We still do stills, and it's been amazing to me how different the genre is, how different the whole creative process is.
You're doing something a little bit different with the story. Obviously, there's many more moving parts.
Video and photo are two different things. Even though you're using the same device possibly, you might be using something like an A7R II or A7S II or A6300. When you're on the video side of things, it's a little bit different. Everything is moving towards 4K. We want everything to look brighter and cleaner and more beautiful.
I have to say that I was a skeptic and a late adopter of 4K. I didn't at first see the reason for it until I started shooting.
Filming in 4K is so awesome because of the versatility and post-process.
Then all of a sudden I saw how crisp, the sharpness was unbelievable. But it also allows you to do more creative things in post.
It gives you a better, finer edge to do compositing in post-production, in After Effects or whatever you want to do.
We're delivering for HD, and so we are able to zoom in on our subject or, go pan left or right or up or down.
It gives you latitude to crop in post. It gives you latitude to stabilize shots that are moving. It gives you latitude to introduce movement to still frames.
If you've got the camera locked down the tripod, but you'd like a little push in or something like that, as long as you're outputting to an HD timeline, you have all this opportunity to do moves and to do a little extra stabilization.
With 4K, you can actually pull 8 megabyte and change still images from your video file.
The thing that's made the biggest difference for me in shooting video is carrying a tripod. You cannot shoot video without a tripod, and once you get into the discipline of shooting with a tripod, then you really can start seeing creatively.
The number one tip that I would give is to use a wide-angle lens when you're starting out, because it's always easier to get closer to your subject, to get closer to that thing you want to focus on, but it's much more difficult to back up and have that really feel like it's smooth and it's flowing well. So just give yourself that freedom to go wide in the beginning and give yourself room for error.
Oftentimes if the situation calls for it because it's very bright outside, maybe you might need an ND filter. Understanding using the right profiles for shooting video is something that you have to look into. So I love shooting in kind of a cinematic look and a cinematic quality. So I love shooting 24 frames per second. So typically my shutter speed would be at 1/50th of a second, and then my aperture would be kind of adjusted to taste. Using the correct shutter speed based on whatever your frame rate is something else is super important. So these are all things that you really have to prepare for ahead of shooting video, especially if you're a photographer, because it's not the same, it's quite different.
My go-to video settings when I'm shooting most things, landscapes or establishing shots, would be 24 frame per second, 4K, 50th of a second shutter speed, and whatever the aperture is.
Typically those are my settings. I'm shooting at 24 frames, 1/50th of a second, and then I'm playing around with the aperture, ISO, and possibly an ND filter to give me the cinematic look that I would want to go for.
And if I see something that I think is going to be good in slow motion, I'll either go to 60 frames per second in HD, or one of the things I love about these, the RX series and some of the later Sony series is this 120 frames per second in full HD. It's crisp, it's sharp, so it makes buttery smooth slow-mo.
We love to have control over our depth of field. We're often at a really low f-stop to get that buttery, blurry background. We want our show and the footage to look cinematic, and I think that if you want that cinematic feel, you want to be in manual mode when you're filming.
I shoot almost everything in 4K video, so it's 24 frames a second or 30 frames a second. Every once in a while, just because I love the look of the slow motion, I will shoot, 60 frames a second at a lower resolution. But I think, the world is 4K, and that's where we're all going.